Brethren, welcome to this week's edition of the Thank Goodness It's Friday video blog. Coming up, we have an interview with Phil Heath. Phil plays a really important role within the province. He is our media manager and he handles all the incoming inquiries from the media and also the press. He prepares press releases to go out and he is our liaison with Freemasonry Today. He also provides us with lots of good advice and guidance, and he also provides training for us. Now, a roundup of the news for this coming week. On Wednesday, the 10th, there is a webinar being hosted by United Grand Lodge of England at 7:30 in the evening. The title is Freemasonry and the Holocaust, and it is a presentation about the Nazi persecution of Freemasons. There are still places available, and on this Facebook page there is a link if should you wish to book a place. Down in the south of the province with Minnis Bay Lodge, they have a member who has just discovered how to use Zoom. Nothing unusual, you would say, but Vic Griffiths is 93 years of age. He has really got to grips with it, and he's on every single Zoom meeting he can possibly be on now. So that is fantastic for someone of that age to be able to do. And he's an inspiration, I must say, to all of us. In Group 8, still in the south of the province, they are just beginning to organise a quiz night for their area. The Great East Kent Boat Race, unfortunately, has been postponed due to reports of it potentially snowing at Easter and the weather being cold. And also, just to be on the safe side with what's ever going to happen with lockdown or coming out of lockdown. So it's been postponed until Sunday, the 2nd of May. We will recirculate the full details through Sending Blue. The plans for the car raffle are being finalised. They're well underway. And you can win a brand new C-Class Mercedes. All the profits will go to the 2025 festival. It's not long now for the close of the East Kent Challenge. So don't forget, it's still time to enter, and you can win a monetary prize which will be given in your name to the 2025 festival. We've also run in the background a photo competition, and we are just in the process of selecting the winner. There were 33 entries and the standard has been so high. Absolutely fantastic photographs have been submitted, and it's causing us a few problems in actually selecting the winner. The winning photograph will appear on the landing page of the provincial website. But the standard has been so good that we will also be featuring all of the photos. Now, back to the interview with Phil Heath. Phil, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Right. I was born and I still live in Dover. I'm also a member of Dover Lodge Military Jubilee. I've spent 30 odd years now working in the media. I originally started with Reuters, and I was trained as a cameraman, and then they gave me a course on media interviewing, which I'd done as little as possible at the time. I then went and worked for BBC National News for a few years there, and then decided that I needed to calm down and not travel so far. So then I worked for BBC Southeast or London, really, then for a few years. And then finally, my last lot of television stuff was with Meridian Television. And I spent about 10 years working for them.
Okay, I understand that you still keep, you've obviously sort of retired, but you still keep your hand in. So what are you doing now?
Okay, yeah, I run a company, and basically what we do media training for various organisations, government departments and things like that. which we sort of show how to deal with the media in various ways. That's written and television and radio. So basically, we give them guidance on how to put out their press releases, how they work best, how to use the hook, and of course also the defence if something's going wrong and the media circus turns up to that particular organisational company.
Yeah, Phil, during your career, I seem to remember you were filming some helicopters, and you got involved in an accident.
Yes, I was filming a Chinook helicopter, and the RAF put me into a position where they said I was completely safe, and the helicopter would come in from this way, because obviously a Chinook helicopter is the double rotors and fairly powerful downdraft, etc. Well, obviously they didn't tell the pilot this, and the pilot came in directly above my head, very low, and suddenly up came all the sand, grit, if you like. I stepped back, the camera was on the tripod, and the tripod came back, whacked me completely in the eye, and done severe damage. So hence my early retirement from news, because they don't like stuff out of focus, and it's damaging the focus in my eyes. So
Yeah, no, that's a shame. So, what work are you now doing as well for the province?
well, I'm doing press and public relations for the province, which is an important thing for everybody, really, because basically we're doing marketing, and as a non-profit organisation, it's important that we get things out there, you know, for people to know. It's important that we attract membership, and you do that by marketing this sort of thing, which is, of course, relying on lodges, etc., to send in press releases about various bits and pieces, or, you know, get in touch with us any way whatsoever. A great story, whether they're raising money, whether they got somebody fairly famous, or there's somebody in history that was famous in their lodge. They're all great stories. And that's the sort of thing that we need, because that sort of thing encourages people to join. And I'm sure we're all aware that, you know, you need to get a few more members. There's no doubt about that. And we all need members. So this is a great thing. If they would contact us and send in stories, or even get advice, we're quite happy to help out. They can write their own stories, send them in, and we'll have a look at them, and we can go from there.
Yeah, Phil, obviously over the years that you've been involved with the province and the media, can you think of some sort of things recently that have sort of caught people's eyes from, you know, various events that have been happening?
We've obviously managed to use television and radio and the print for various story over a few years. God, I've lost my track. Sorry.
That's right. Don't worry about that. Let me ask.
Give me that question again. I've lost it.
Okay. I mean, really, what I'm trying to get to, Phil, is the fact that obviously, you know, we've had lots of good articles out in the media. We've had lots of good articles on Freemasonry Today. You know, we've had lots of interesting stories out on Facebook, and, you know, we've had an awful lot of success in promoting what we do and attracting new members. Is there anything that really sort of comes to the top of the pile in terms of something that really stands out?
I think over this last year, which of course has been dreadful with COVID-19, Freemasonry has come to the forefront quite a lot. I mean, there was the donations given to the hospitals of the sort of iPads, masks, etc., etc. And also then there's been the food. I mean, enormous amounts of food that they were able to give out because of the donations coming in from East Camp Freemasons. And then recently, the other story, of course, was when France decided that it would sort of shut the border down for a bit until lorry drivers had their COVID tests, etc. And there were lorry drivers stuck in queues, you know, on the motorways, and Dover was actually completely locked up. these poor guys were sat in their lorries and they'd got nothing. Some of them hadn't got any money with them. And luckily, Freemasonry come to the fore there and donated money to get food parcels to these guys or get boxes of food to them. So I think they're the sort of stories that are, that really show what Freemasonry is all about.
Okay, collectively, us as Freemasons in the province of East Kent, if there is one thing that you could say to the members regarding sending in news articles, what would that be? What would your cry for help be?
I think we all need to sort of promote our lodges and attract members again. It's not just print. Obviously, we've got the website, we've got the social media, Twitter, Instagram, etc., and they're all important, and they all get seen by quite a lot of people now. And there's a lot of outside people that look at these. And so, if lodges could come up with various bits and pieces, or even ideas for the stories, send them in, and we can work with them and build something of this.
What about websites? Because we know that some lodges have websites, and we've seen some of the potential successes they've had. Do you think it's a good thing to have a website, and particularly signposting people to the Just Ask One website?
I think this is the age where all organisations should have a website, and our local lodges should all have websites, really, because it is a great way of promoting Freemasonry in general, but also their local lodges. And we've got, obviously, the communications uses that particular website, which is seen by a terrific amount of people, as far as I know. And that encourages people to feed back at times, and that's where it helps to generate more members.
Yeah, great. So can you just remind everybody, Phil, of your email address?
Yeah, it's media@eastkentfreemasons.org.
And this is where you want people to send all the interesting stories or the ideas, etc.
Yes, please. No rude ones.
Well, of course not. We're Masons. But just to finish off, Phil, over your time, of your careers in the media, and obviously the time that you've been sort of working with the province, have you got any funny stories?
Well, the sort of thing, I mean, I have to, just to give you the bad side of it, first of all, I mean, I've been spat at, punched by Millwall fans, had bricks thrown at me when there's been an extreme left and extreme right meetings, bits and pieces like that. And even when I've gone out filming where they don't want you to, somebody's done something wrong and they tell you to clear off. They asked you they work for because they're going to complain. And if I'm working for the BBC, I always used to say ITV, because I thought, well, if they're going to complain, they can complain to ITV. The other thing is, I've met an awful lot of people. Obviously, I've been very close to most of the royal family and to very various politicians, including prime ministers, and interviewed them. I even one day, here's a great one. Remember Sophie Loren? She was the great screen siren some years ago. And I had to do an interview with her a few years back. And it was just myself doing it. And so it got to clip on the microphone. Well, she was wearing this top. And normally you try to hide the cable, so you put the top up. Bring the microphone out the top. So I said to her, would you like to do that? And she just said to me, no, you carry on, you do it. Now, of course, a few years ago, everybody would have wanted to do it, but a lovely lady. I've obviously worked with a lot of famous people, had some fun with them in various ways. Lorraine Kelly, for instance, she started off as a journalist. I think it was for TVAM years and years ago. And I was working with her, and we were down in Dover doing a story can't remember what the story was, but anyway, we were down in Dover, and we ended up, and she took us out for, my wife and I took us out for an Indian meal. So great fun there. So we've had, there's been a lot of people and a lot of different things going on. So apart from also the mundane things like sitting outside of Crown Courts waiting for verdicts, or going in and getting notes and trying to get the story built around them, things like that. So you never knew what you were getting from one day to the next. And there are other organisations you could be in that don't know what to expect the next day, particularly the emergency services. So yeah, a variation.
So tell me, Phil, I'm interested in this one. What's it like sitting on the opposite side of the camera?
Unnerving. You know, I just look and think to myself, I hope he's got this framed right. I hope I look good. I hope the lighting's perfect.
Well, of course, Phil, absolutely. So, but anyway, thank you very much for your insight into the world of media. That's really, really interesting, and I shall look forward to working with you in the future.
Thank you very much, Richard. Good to see you again.
Yeah. Well, that concludes this week's edition of Thank Goodness It's Friday video blog. However, just before we finish, there must be many members who are suffering a bad case of lockdown hair. If you are, we'd love to be able to see your photographs. So please send them in to the email address that now appears on the screen. Brethren, we'll see you this time next week.